500 years ago, Spanish conquistadors set foot in the Americas. After years of war and colonization, they set out from the newly conquered Mexico and arrived here in the highlands of Guatemala. They would have seen something like this. It was here that the Maya people defended their territory against advancing settlers. Since then, these cultures have merged, giving rise to new demons and new gods.
Bendícelo, Padre, bendícelo, Señor. Protégelo, hermano Simón. Protégelo, Señor.
The Quiche Maya, one of the many Maya groups in the mightiest kingdom at the time of the conquest, settled in the town of Chichicastenango. Despite numerous attempts by the Spanish to eradicate their culture, time does not seem to have found a grip on them. For the Quiche, Chichicastenango today serves as a fortress of their culture. Merchants and tourists alike come from all over the country to visit the bustling market. The Catholic Church in the background marks the epicenter of the town. This church, however, is not like most. It is built on the remnants of an ancient Maya temple, with each of the 18 steps standing for 1 month of the Maya calendar. Shamans gather on its steps and inside of the church to venerate the old gods and the new. For centuries after the conquest, the church imposed its beliefs onto those of the Maya people, leading them to practice their spirituality in secret, using Christian symbols as a disguise. This led to a fusion of religious beliefs, also known as syncretism. Franciscan missionaries of the time were after any potential hindrances to the conversion of the Maya. This resulted in the burning of their books and idols, one of the great tragedies of history. Out of this entire civilization, only 4 texts survived. There is another important text, though, that survived these purges, a book that defines the spirit of the Quiche people. It only exists because the book was secretly passed down generation after generation. The Popol Vuh tells the story of the creation of the universe and the glory of gods that created it. To the Quiche, this book is as important as the Bible is for Christians. The text remained in secret from the Spanish until the 18th century, when one of its guardians allowed a Spanish priest to see it. It was in this very church where it was borrowed to be copied and translated. It is unknown what happened to the original manuscript. However, it is entirely possible that it still remains hidden away and in secret amongst village elders. In order to gain a clearer understanding of the seemingly complex relationship between the church and the Quiche, we turned to the parish priest himself, a native Quiche Maya.
Pues, antes de la llegada del cristianismo en nuestros pueblos, pues ya en estos lugares existían quienes adoraban a Dios, quienes tenían fe en Dios, ¿verdad? Conocido como Ukushka, Ukush Uleu, o corazón del cielo, corazón de la tierra. Llega el Evangelio, llega el cristianismo muchos aceptaron la fe, aceptaron el Evangelio, es decir, aceptaron a Jesucristo. Sin embargo, pues también hubo gente que practicó siempre la espiritualidad que traía con los antepasados. En el Quiché y en muchas partes de Guatemala llevamos lo que es la inculturación del Evangelio. ¿Qué quiere decir eso? Quiere decir que hay elementos propios de la cultura maya que podemos unir al Evangelio. Entonces han sido procesos, al menos que la iglesia en el Quiché ha hecho, hasta incluso, en cierto punto, conocer a Dios, al Dios de Jesucristo, como el corazón del cielo y el corazón de la tierra también, ¿verdad? Porque Dios es Dios, está aquí, está allá, es en todos lados. Entonces, es para nosotros una alegría que podamos unir algunos elementos.
In the opening passage of the Popol Vuh, called the Primordial World, there is a poetic retelling of the vast nothingness before the creation of the universe. This is the account of when all is still, silent and placid. All is silent and calm. Hushed and empty is the womb of the sky. The face of the earth has not yet appeared. Alone lies the expanse of the sea, along with the womb of all the sky. The gods then held a meeting and decided to create the world along with the land, mountains, and rivers. But their main purpose was to create something that could remember them and revere them. This is what ultimately led to the creation of humanity. The story is then punctuated by the deeds of gods and heroes, such as the hero twins, a motif that repeats itself across many indigenous cultures in the Americas. The figures they encounter often serve as allegories, representing the forces of nature. Out of all the natural forces described in the text, there's not a single one that is not connected to a deity. The constant shaking of the earth and the eruptions of massive volcanoes influenced the sense of mythical poetry among the Quiché. Guatemala was fertile ground for these stories to be born. The country is located on the Pacific Ring of Fire, a chain of volcanoes that outlines the Pacific Ocean. In fact, 75% of Earth's volcanoes are located on this line. The city of Antigua is surrounded by 3 of them, seemingly harmless, but in the near distance, Fuego volcano has been responsible for periodic catastrophes over the centuries. Only a few years before, pyroclastic flows descended from Fuego, causing the death of nearly 200 people. This was the deadliest eruption in Guatemala in over 100 years. Feeling that this was distant enough in time, we headed to the summit of the neighboring volcano Acatenango. Hundreds of hikers gather at the summit to witness Fuego erupting. Even though eruptions happen frequently, we still did not expect to see what happened next. eruption of this magnitude is nothing compared to earlier eruptions in this country. The area in the distance is the site of a supervolcanic eruption which happened 84,000 years ago. The eruption was so large that it created the deepest lake in Central America. And even though there was an obvious fascination for the magnitude of these forces and the landscapes, what we were really after was the stranger side to the lake. No matter how bizarre, things may get in the end. In one of the villages surrounding the lake, we met a local fisherman who agreed to take us out in his cayuco. Communication was a barrier since his first language is Sutuhil, the Mayan language primarily spoken in this region. But he did manage to explain to us that due to a variety of reasons, including pollution and invasive species, the lake, once a thriving ecosystem, is now void of most fish. This frustration has led him to have a recurring fever dream. In his dream, the volcano bears magical powers. He goes up and down the volcano only to realize that the lake is now full of fish. But the cycle for him repeats endlessly.
Usted está soñando, ¿y? Pero cuando soñaste, estás caminando con unos volcanes. Y cuando saliste, bajando llegaste con un agua. Y cuando llegaste, había muchos pescados. Cuando saliste caminando, soñando, subiendo, bajando en el volcán y cabal saliendo otra vez allí y caminando de nuevo.
Similar to his dreams, this lake has given rise to a new god. In the nearby village of Santiago, nestled among 3 volcanoes, another syncretic figure has appeared. And this one is to keep the evil spirits away. The name of the deity, Machimon, or Saint Simon. Spanish missionaries attempted to replace the ancient Maya god Mam with Saint Simon. But instead of the deity's identity becoming the apostles, they inadvertently created a sinner saint hybrid. He's known as a drinker, a smoker, a womanizer, and a trickster. On most days, a live band, shamans, and locals gather to celebrate his mischievous cult.